We're happy to be joined in studio again this morning by Stephanie Erickson. She is a social worker with Erickson Resource Group. Today we're going to be talking all about how the family can cope when a member of your family who's aging falls into crisis, because that can lead to problems, right?
It certainly can. People can get very upset and everyone starts blaming everyone else. It's your fault. What are we going to do in this situation?
Exactly. Can you start by giving us some examples of specifically what it is that can lead to family conflict?
I would say there's two things that generally cause conflict. One, not surprisingly, money. If mom needs help, who's going to manage the money and what are we going to use the money for? Secondly, I would say it's probably housing. If mom's not doing well, should she stay at home or should she move to a residence?
Right. And probably a lot of the time people are thinking to themselves, okay, when you have to decide who's going to deal with the money, you want to make sure that it's somebody that everybody trusts, right?
Yeah, and that can sometimes cause problems. Not all the time do people trust one another within a family. Yeah.
What would you say are some steps to reduce family conflict and improve the communication then?
Well, I think the first thing is just everybody to stop for a minute and take a pause, because we don't make good decisions when we're in a crisis and when we're emotionally charged. So I think it's important for families to stop and set a time and a date when everyone will reconvene and discuss what it is that's happening, so everyone can just calm down a bit and maybe have a more productive conversation.
Exactly. So you say that once everybody has had a chance to cool off, that's when it's time to sort of make a master plan.
Exactly, master plan. That's a great way to describe it. So I say create a cheat sheet. So what you want to do is really remove yourself from the situation. You're not going to hypothesize as to why we're in the situation. We're just in it. So now we create a cheat sheet. And on that cheat sheet, we're going to list all of the different symptoms or problems that we're observing. So it might be things like mom is not eating well, she's losing weight, she's not managing her money, she's confused, she's falling. So there's lots of different things that we can talk about, and we're focusing on just the symptom.
Exactly. So I think that we have a graphic displaying those different symptoms. Okay, we don't have that graphic.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it anyway.
So now that we've isolated the symptoms, though, you say the next step would be what? It's really, you want to create a chart, right?
You do. So you list all of the symptoms, and also within those symptoms you want to talk about a mission plan for the family. It's really important to help align people. So in that mission statement, we're going to just focus on what we want for mom, not what the solution is, but what we want. So something like, we want mom to be safe, so when things get heated again, we can go back to that mission and all be aligned. So now we have the symptoms listed, which is what you were asking. Now we're going to talk about what are all the possible solutions for each symptom listed. So for example, weight loss. What's one of the solutions if someone is losing weight? We can bring meals into the home through a community agency. The family can be preparing meals themselves and bringing them in.
Alternating.
Yeah, alternating. They could hire a home care, here we go with some graphics. We can hire home help to move into the residence or just to stay there and help mom prepare meals, or mom can move into a residence.
Okay, so weight loss would be, again, another example of a problem that we run into.
That's right.
As well as confusion, frequent falls. What would be a solution to frequent falls?
Okay, so there's lots of things we can do. We can adapt the home. We can bring equipment into the home. We can have mom move to a residence in which she has some supervision. There are alarm systems and alert systems that we can install in the home. We can hire home help to come in and be with mom, excuse me, during the day to help supervise her. So again, lots of different solutions for that particular symptom.
Right. Is this something that is this kind of a chart, something that we create beforehand or when the crisis strikes?
Well, I think it's good to have discussions with our loved one, with mom. Mom, if you needed help, what would you want? Would you want to stay in the home? Would you want to move to a residence? So we have a general idea. But you can never really plan for everything, so probably most of the time you get into this once a crisis occurs.
Right. What would be the time frame?
In terms of when you have a solution?
Exactly.
Well, I say that when the crisis happens, everyone should reconvene probably within about 5 days to come up with solutions. Once you have all those problems listed, you're going to now have research. So everyone's going to take a solution. So let's say hiring home help. I take that on. I'm going to start researching that. We're going to reconvene again in, let's say, 5 days. We're all going to have our research options, and now we're going to come up with a plan for the family.
I feel like if I were to meet a family that was this organized, I would be incredibly impressed, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, most people are not this organized.
Right.
But I think if you can get some outside help, like a social worker in a hospital or something that can help keep people on track, that would help.
Stephanie, what would you say is probably a common mistake in this whole process that families tend to make?
they don't include the senior. Everyone's talking about mom and her safety, and mom's not even involved in the conversation.
Wow.
And this is mom's life. So that's really one of the takeaways here, Camille, is you have to include the loved one that we're talking about should be at the center of all of these discussions and really the one leading the decision making.
Very interesting stuff. Stephanie, for people who are interested in getting more information
Sure.
from you, where can they go?
You can go to my website at ericksonresource.com. You can also follow my podcast at webtalkradio.net.
Thanks very much for that.
Thank you, Camille.